Have you ever paused to wonder why the universe seems so perfectly designed for life to exist? A question that might feel like it belongs more to the realm of late-night philosophy discussions rather than hard science. Yet this question forms the basis of a concept that has intrigued and perplexed scientists and philosophers alike for centuries. This concept is known as the Anthropic Principle. Imagine the universe as a grand cosmic orchestra. Each instrument plays its part, contributing to the symphony of existence. Now, in this orchestra, the instruments are the fundamental constants of the universe. The speed of light, the gravitational constant, the strength of the electromagnetic force, and so on. Each of these constants plays its part in the grand symphony of the cosmos. But what if even one of these constants were slightly out of tune? What if gravity were just a tad stronger or the speed of light just a smidge slower? The symphony would descend into chaos. Stars might not form, galaxies could collapse, and life, as we know it, might not have the chance to emerge. Yet, here we are, in a universe where everything seems to be in perfect harmony. A universe that seems finely tuned for life to exist. It's as if the universe itself is the grand conductor, ensuring every instrument, every constant is perfectly in tune. But why is this so? Is it mere coincidence, or is there a deeper reason behind this surprising harmony? This is a question that has kept scientists and philosophers awake at night for centuries. Why does the universe seem so perfectly designed for life? Why are the fundamental constants of the universe just right for stars to form, galaxies to exist, and life to emerge? Is it just a happy accident, or is there a deeper, more profound reason? This is what we call the Anthropic Principle, a concept that has intrigued scientists and philosophers for centuries. And as we delve deeper into this idea, we'll discover that the answers are as fascinating as the questions themselves. The Anthropic Principle didn't just appear out of nowhere. Its roots go back centuries. The concept, in its raw form, can be traced back to ancient Greek philosophers like Aristotle, who held that the cosmos was a rational order that humans could comprehend. Fast forward to the Enlightenment era, when thinkers like Immanuel Kant and Isaac Newton began to formalize these ideas, suggesting that the universe was structured in a way that could be understood through the application of reason and scientific principles. In the 20th century, things started to get really interesting. Scientists began to notice that certain physical constants of our universe seemed to be finely tuned to allow for the emergence of life. For instance, if gravity was just slightly stronger or weaker, stars might not form, and without stars, there would be no planets and no life as we know it. This idea became more prominent in the mid-20th century with the work of physicists like Paul Dirac and Robert Dicke. Dirac noted the astonishing balance between the strength of gravity and electromagnetism, while Dicke proposed an observational bias in our view of the universe. This is the notion that our ability to observe the universe is contingent on conditions that allow our existence in the first place. Later, in the 70s, British astrophysicist Brandon Carter coined the term Anthropic Principle to describe these observations. He suggested two versions of the principle: the weak Anthropic Principle, which simply states that the universe must be compatible with conscious life for us to observe it, and the strong Anthropic Principle, which proposes that the universe must, in some sense, be compelled to eventually bring forth conscious life. And so, the Anthropic Principle was born, giving us a new lens to view our universe. So, what makes us think that the universe is finely tuned for life? The answer lies in the delicate balance of physical constants and the conditions necessary for the formation of stars, galaxies, and habitable planets. Let's delve into this fascinating evidence of universal fine-tuning. The story begins with the fundamental forces of nature: gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces. These forces govern the behavior of every particle in the universe. Yet they are finely balanced. For instance, if gravity were slightly stronger, stars would burn too quickly, leaving no time for life to evolve. If it were weaker, stars might not form at all. The same precision is seen in the strong nuclear force, which binds the nuclei of atoms together. A minute change in its strength could prevent the formation of heavy elements like carbon, an essential ingredient for life as we know it. Let's not forget about the cosmological constant, a value that describes the energy density of the vacuum of space. It's tuned to a precision of 1 part in 10 to the power of 120. If it were any larger, the universe would have expanded too rapidly for galaxies and stars to form. Any smaller, and the universe would have collapsed back on itself. And what about the conditions for habitable planets? They too are incredibly specific. Planets need to be in a Goldilocks zone around their star. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right for liquid water to exist. They need a stable orbit, a protective magnetic field, and just the right mix of chemical elements. The list of finely tuned parameters goes on, each one a crucial link in the chain of existence. It's like the universe is a grand cosmic orchestra, each instrument playing its part in perfect harmony to create the symphony of life. The balance needed for life to exist is a delicate one, and our universe seems to strike it perfectly. Like any theory, the Anthropic Principle is not without its critics. Indeed, the idea that the universe is fine-tuned for the emergence of intelligent life has sparked a multitude of debates and discussions. On one hand, we have alternative interpretations that challenge the very foundations of the principle. On the other, the principle has been subjected to various critiques, both theological and naturalistic. Let's begin with the theological perspectives. Some argue that the Anthropic Principle aligns with the notion of a divine creator, a being that intentionally calibrated the universe for life. This interpretation, however, has been met with criticism. Critics argue that attributing the fine-tuning of the universe to a divine entity is a leap too far, suggesting that this perspective is more of a philosophical or religious belief than a scientific hypothesis. On the flip side, we have naturalistic interpretations. These are grounded in the belief that the fine-tuning of the universe is simply a result of natural processes. Critics of this perspective, however, assert that it fails to provide a satisfactory explanation for the existence of a universe so finely balanced that it can support life. Some even go further to suggest that this interpretation relies too heavily on chance, which can be a rather unsatisfactory explanation in itself. Moreover, there's a critique that the Anthropic Principle is a tautology, a statement that is true by necessity or by virtue of its logical form. In other words, critics argue that the principle merely states what is already obvious. We observe a universe compatible with our existence because we exist. The Anthropic Principle also faces the criticism of being untestable. As a scientific theory, it should be subject to empirical testing, yet the unique nature of our universe makes it difficult to compare it with other possible universes. Despite these controversies, the Anthropic Principle continues to provoke thought and inspire research. Its critics and supporters alike are driven by the same curiosity, to understand the nature of our universe and our place within it. So, what does it mean for us if the universe is indeed finely tuned for life? If we accept the Anthropic Principle, we find ourselves in the midst of a cosmic riddle. A universe that appears tailored for our existence begs the question, why? Why does the universe permit life? Why does it allow for the emergence of conscious beings capable of pondering its mysteries? One interpretation is a cosmological one. Perhaps there are multiple universes, each with different laws and constants. We just happen to exist in the one that allows for life. It's the cosmic equivalent of winning the lottery, not because we're especially lucky, but because we're playing in an unimaginably vast number of games. Another interpretation leans toward philosophy and theology. Some argue that a finely tuned universe suggests a purpose or design, hinting at the hand of a creator. This perspective can bring comfort, a sense of belonging, and a feeling of significance in the grand scheme of things. But the Anthropic Principle also brings into sharp relief our responsibility as sentient beings. If the universe is so exquisitely calibrated to allow for our existence, it underscores the value and rarity of life. It compels us to respect and preserve our world, and to explore the cosmos with reverence and humility. Moreover, the Anthropic Principle stirs deep philosophical questions about the nature of existence. Are we observers, participants, or co-creators of our universe? Is our role passive, active, or even interactive? These questions push the boundaries of our understanding and challenge us to redefine our place in the cosmos. In a universe that seems custom-made for our existence, the Anthropic Principle invites us to reflect on our role, our purpose, and our destiny. It's a call to explore, to learn, and to wonder. It's a reminder that we are intimately connected with the cosmos, part of its ongoing story. Maybe, just maybe, we are not mere cosmic accidents after all. The Anthropic Principle invites us all to ponder this profound possibility.